along with the world's most trusted company in the world, we want to make the world's best outdoor products, for our customer. And like I said, for that person that said, I want to buy less stuff and I want it to work in more situations, like we want to be that brand they think of. We want to be that brand that people on that journey go to find advice on how to do that for other areas of their life.
This is the Startup Junkies podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Startup Junkies podcast. Thanks for tuning in from wherever and however you tune in with us. My name is Caleb Talley. I'm a member of the Startup Junkie team, joined by my Startup Junkie co-host, Daniel. How's it going, Daniel?
Oh, it's awesome. It's a beautiful, chilly day here in Northwest Arkansas.
It is cold, but it'll warm up in 2 days. By the time this podcast comes out, it'll be 80 degrees. We're excited to be joined by a longtime friend of Startup Junkie, a friend of ours, a return guest on the Startup Junkies podcast, Andrew with LIVSN Designs. How's it going, Andrew?
That's going good. Nice and cold outside.
It is. We're excited to have you.
As we've established.
Yeah. I honestly, who knows what the temperature will actually be when this episode comes out in a week or two. But so tell us, Andrew, you've been on the show before. So some of our longtime listeners kind of might be familiar with LIVSN, but tell us, what is LIVSN Designs?
So yeah, we discussed it's been a couple of years, but I was on here once before. Since it's old
couple
news,
times,
right?
Yeah.
LIVSN's an apparel company. We're based out of Bentonville, Arkansas. Actually, we're started here in Fayetteville out of my house back in 2018. We make outdoor apparel. We like to say we make clothing for people who value experiences more than stuff. And our tagline is own less, live more. And what that means is basically, if someone's made a choice to buy something higher quality, but buy less of it, and wants to have a collection of clothing that's very versatile and very durable and works for the outdoors and every day, that's what we make.
So where did this concept come from?
It was really born out of an effort I had going on in my life where I was trying to simplify the things that I own. I'd had a realization due to some past life experiences that it wasn't all the stuff that I had that was the most important. It was really what I was doing with it. And as I went through this process of slimming down gear, especially my wardrobe, I found some holes in it for pieces that really wished existed that did not, and had a lot of ideas about how to build a company the right way. Try to put a lot of theory on how a company would exist in the market, what kind of products it would make, how it would treat its customers, its community, how to do it right, and decided that I wanted to take all of that together and give a go at making really the world's most trusted company.
Yeah. And when you were building that company in the early stages, you guys used Kickstarter, right?
We did.
Can you tell us a little bit about that process?
Yeah. Kickstarter is a very useful channel, right? It does a lot of things that nothing else can do and kind of puts it all together at once. So it's a way to get a group of people excited about one product all at one time. So it really helps financing. So we really used that money to jumpstart our production of our products. So you have to hit a certain quantity to make things. And Kickstarter allows you to kind of get all those pre-sales up front and get that money, go produce the product, and then, get started as a brand. It also has some really cool benefits for PR and marketing. It focuses all your effort on this little 30-day span where you need to shoot every shot you've got and get it out there. And so for a brand that eventually wanted to go into the best outdoor stores in the country, it's hard to walk in with no proof and say, look, I've got something that's going to be great for your store. Kickstarter lets you get that proof and find that product market fit fast.
So it kind of checks off multiple boxes for you as you're entering the market, kind of from a PR perspective, a proof of product perspective, and then also just funding the actual launch itself.
Sure. Yeah. Cash flow is great on Kickstarter. Yeah. It's not a very profitable sales channel, and I'll tell everybody thinking about it that, right? As long as you're using it for the things that it's good at, for awareness, for that ability to gain a fairly passionate early following around the business you're building, right? A lot of the people that are on Kickstarter are doing it not necessarily for the product; they're doing it for the experience.
Yeah,
and I think that's a very unique channel.
We definitely see some of that too with the Kiva platform. We facilitate a Kiva Hub, and it's an international nonprofit that it's loans, and so it's a similar platform. So you think the Kickstarter platform, but with the intention that all of these contributions are intended to be paid back, and so there's that opportunity for companies that have not don't necessarily have access to that traditional, a bank loan, a small business loan, or it might not be profitable for a bank to give someone a loan for $2,000 for a new sign or something like that.
Mhm.
So you've got those people, but also the people that are interested in getting that kind of launching pad almost, in a sense, by being on a platform that's going to get just a ton of eyeballs during that designated period of time.
Right.
So I could see it kind of mirroring in a sense, because we see that with some of the clients that we have.
And Kiva, and not that Kickstarter can't be, but Kiva's got such a cool dynamic in that it is so local.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers don't have to be big to be successful.
Yeah,
It's just a really cool grassroots thing. And I've seen some of the little businesses, not little, but just businesses that have popped up through the Kiva program. It's been fun.
It's like validation on a local level.
Yeah.
With the opportunity to get some national eyeballs on in the process. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So when we talk about outdoor apparel, you guys make pants, shirts, outerwear. When you guys first started getting going, was there one product that like stood out as, hey, this is our most popular thing? And has that changed at all in the past 7 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, when we did that first Kickstarter, we did it for two products.
Mhm.
Our Flex Canvas pants, which are still either number one or close to it selling product today. And then another fleece called the High Wool Fleece. And very early on, it was very clear that people were really interested in the pants. Got press, got great reviews. We were sold out and pre-selling them. And they weren't as interested in that fleece that we made. The world said, hey, maybe we don't need another black fleece.
Yeah.
And so as I was going through the fulfillment process for those two products, I was actually taking the company through Techstars Business Accelerator down in Austin. And really, that's we're kind of an odd duck in the Techstars portfolio of tech companies because we're not tech at all. But one of the things that really rubbed off on me was this idea of like building a hyper-specific product, getting feedback very fast and iterating it from your audience and making it as good as you can through iteration, more of a software model. And so we decided at that point, or I decided to just focus on building the best pair of pants we possibly could. And we did that for, I think, 4 years. We only made one product.
So it's an outdoor apparel brand that has grown off basically the back of a pair of pants.
Yeah. When we started out, we laid out this set of principles. And the idea being that if we design by a set of principles, and you can find these on our site, it's things like aim for mobility, use the best material for the job, prioritize a timeless fit, timeless colors, timeless palettes, try to build these products that just had a right to exist and get better over time. We put all that together into that pair of pants. And so really those principles were refined through the same process that refined the pants over iterative, design and feedback. And then when we felt like the pants were at the point where we'd accomplished that goal, for now, we started to apply those principles across new products. And so all those same principles that led to the success of the pants are applied across our jackets and our shirts and our other products to make sure that they're kind of fitting into this mold of things that should be timeless and versatile and durable and serve their job well.
So you create a system.
Something like that.
For onboarding a product, basically.
More of a filter.
Yeah, filter. There you go. Yeah. Awesome. And so, as you didn't just go and start that from scratch and just decide this is kind of where we want to go, and throw it out into the world. Y'all kind of had a process for just engaging with the community, right? Too. I know y'all did a lot of pop-ups, like your startup crawls and different things like that, where y'all are interfacing, letting people feel and see. Speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we were started and just kind of using the tools and the environment we were in. We were very digitally native at first. Kickstarter, Instagram, email, website. But we're still selling a very tactile product. It's made of textiles, right? You need to come feel it. You need to try it on. You kind of see it to believe it. It's hard for some things to come across on a screen. And so early on and still today, in-person events and in-person experience is really trumps everything else we could possibly do as far as getting people to get it.
And giving away stickers.
Lots of stickers. We that was how we did our first email list, and it ended up being a mess. But yeah, we were sending out like a free sticker for signing up for the email list for launch.
I remember hearing that story.
Yeah.
This just kind of blew up on y'all a little bit. In terms of
turns out that you can very quickly end up like running a letter stuffing assembly line, like sweatshop in your house with all your friends, just like getting dry, like no longer having saliva trying to lick envelopes. And
as long as it's not like the envelopes from Seinfeld.
I'm not sure they were good. We ended up getting those little envelope looker things, like the little automated ones. And then we ended up handing it to a mail service being like, please help us here. We're overwhelmed.
So you mentioned that your guys' roots are here in Bentonville, correct?
Yeah, that's where we're headquartered right now.
Okay, you're headquartered in Bentonville. How has being part of Northwest Arkansas affected your brand? Like, how important is community to LIVSN?
I'd say community is huge. I mean, it's not just like the kind of cheesy way of saying like we believe in community. Like we started on Kickstarter. That's very community driven. We've had the support of our local community. Various outdoor communities have kind of adopted LIVSN along the way and helped us, gain more exposure. And even now we're running a community financing round, our second one on WeFunder, where we're inviting our customers and our actual friends and family to invest in the company, even like $100. And so all of that means that communities to us like very much part of our DNA. And I think it's one of those, if you kind of go way back in time and find some of the early articles I was writing, blog posts for LIVSN, one of the very first things about sustainability is that your company is a productive and beneficial member of its community, right? Like I don't think, and when I say sustainable, I don't just mean environmental. I don't think any company is a sustainable company, period, if they're not accountable and a good member of their own community.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned that word because that's a word I have written down here and it's starred 3 times. Sustainability. Yeah. We can talk, maybe about the environmental aspect of it. Sustainability is kind of a rising norm in the outdoor apparel industry, almost to the point where it's an expectation. What is LIVSN doing to make their products sustainable?
So it's interesting. We don't believe that any product could ever be sustainable. And what I mean by that is that it's not really an endpoint. And it's somewhat of a limiting factor to say this is a sustainable product when, there's always room for the next step that helps that product be lower impact. And so the terminology we use more now is about, more responsible, lower impact. How do we holistically build a business that can be sustainable? And thinking about it like that, the full triple bottom line. So people, planet, and profit. And so to us, that means starting out with like, does this product have a right to exist? Does someone else make this thing that we're trying to make better than we ever can? And that's part of that filter. If the answer is no, we make it. We try to do our best at it. We apply those principles and we try to build something at its core that has a right to exist, that has a user that's going to find it and love it. And we believe that if we build something that serves its purpose well, and then we as a company help extend the lifespan of that product through we have a repair program and a resale program, and then ultimately, follow through on our commitment there, then we've built something of value. We've kept it out of the landfill as long as possible, and we've had the least amount of impact we possibly could. And now that's like the philosophical kind of foundation. On top of that foundation, you build in things like, are we using lower impact materials? Are we trying to, we do certify as much as possible that our organics are organic, that our recycled are recycled, and that our dyes are non-toxic. And you build on that going a little further and you say, who's making these products, right? And so we've asked tough questions about our supply chain, and we've currently self-reported, but also we've been to our manufacturers where we have them sign a code of conduct. And not just sign it and say, here's what we do, we're awesome. It actually has like 3 columns. It says, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
We could do this, in 12 months with some assistance maybe. And this is not feasible, right? And that's part of the relationship that like when, U.S. companies go overseas and say, we're sustainable, you should be too. They're like, well, we got to pay our bills and these people need jobs. And so there is this really more nuanced conversation that we try to have around sustainability that is more practical and more holistic than just saying we use organic cotton. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Are you an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur looking to get plugged into the ecosystem? We host a ton of events designed for education, inspiration, and collaboration, from weekly meetups to quarterly events like pitch competitions and annual events like our marquee event, the Startup Crawl, which is the largest startup party in Arkansas. Check out our event page on our website, sign up, and we'll see you there.
You mentioned a resale and a repair program, correct? Can
Yeah.
you talk to us a little bit about that?
So those were, repair has been a big deal for us this whole time. Like that's part of, there's some data around this. It says if you extend the lifespan of a product 9 months, then it has 30% less carbon impact on the world. And you can extend the lifespan of most clothing way more than 9 months with each repair you make. And so we feel it's important that when we make something, we choose to create this shirt and bring it into the world, that we have a responsibility to that shirt to keep it in service for its user as long as possible. And so we launched that repair program, and it's at cost if it's just wear and tear, and it's free if it was warranty. And I think it's growing in a trend, which is awesome. It's also just a big part of the answer, right? We don't think that we need to sell 3 shirts to the same person in a year because we made them bad. We think that we need to sell 1 shirt that lasts a person a decade, and then when they're ready to buy the next or other product categories, we're going to have a higher degree of trust. And so if we feel like if we can build something right, help them keep it in service longer, we'll have a longer lifetime value for our customers. And that's really where this like people, planet, profit thing comes together. You can't have just the altruistic good in business. It really needs to be combined with shareholder value, right? And then also, is it good for the planet? And can all these things live in harmony? And that's a sustainable business if they can.
Yeah.
And resale is similar, right? So everything happens. Like you get bigger, you get smaller. Your trends change. Your whatever it is. For some reason that piece doesn't work for you. If you donate it, there's a really good chance it ends up in the landfill anyway. And so really the best thing we can do is give people the opportunity to sell it to somebody else. And so we built that platform that allows people to sell to each other.
Wow.
It's part of that.
So it just kind of really just goes back to, having less things, but having those things longer, built for the long term, built for life. It actually ensures that, doubles down on that direction.
It helps that, right?
Yeah,
and it takes away, I won't say excuses, but it creates opportunities for the product to divert away from a landfill.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whenever we can.
And I want to go back to the WeFunder campaign. So we are in the midst of one right now.
We are.
And so tell me a little bit about that process and kind of what you envision, those supporters to look like, and kind of, being community based or more broadly. What's that looked like so far?
So this is our second one. So it's important to talk, like in 2022, we ran a WeFunder and we raised $419,000 on there.
Wow.
I believe it was 474 people, somewhere around that, which equates to about like $700, $800 a person. And so when you think about it, we've got some angel investors. We've got some family office money in the business. We've also got 400 plus, and now another 100 are on so far, of actual customers, real people, that are in our community, that wear our products. A lot of them are like, we have retailers and buyers and store owners we work with that are now shareholders in LIVSN. And like the grand vision here is that we're building a company that's owned by the same community that it serves. And so as we progress and as LIVSN has more success and we get faced with tough choices that affect more than just me, as the founder, we've got other people here. We've got a more representative group of people that have shares in the business that can speak to and voice their ambitions, but also have a voice at the table, which is cool. I mean, that's the thing, is like, talk about community focus. We've got, at this point, well over 500 of our customers that are shareholders.
That's awesome. What's the goal with this campaign?
Goal? Like, ideally, or not ideally, we're shooting for 500,000 total. We're at 351, or maybe 354 as of this morning. And it's kind of ticking up every day, which is really cool. Every time we go and kind of do either a podcast or a thing, it kind of jumps and then it cruises for a while. But we're looking to get another $150,000 into the company through this, and bring in those people into the fold and put that money to work to build, like I said, we're really trying to build the world's most trusted company.
If any of our listeners are like interested in getting involved, where do they go?
WeFunder.com/LIVSN Designs, LIVSN Designs, plural. Yeah, or just Google it.
So tell us,
ChatGPT.
Right? Yeah, I'm not up on the. I'm not up on the new.
That's the new Google. Right? So tell me a little. What does winning look like for you? I know you just kind of alluded to it potentially, and being one of the world's most trusted companies, but like long term, like what's Andrew's vision of success?
We want to be, along with the world's most trusted company in the world, we want to make the world's best outdoor products, for our customer. And like I said, for that person that said, I want to buy less stuff and I want it to work in more situations, like we want to be that brand they think of. We want to be that brand that people on that journey go to find advice on how to do that for other areas of their life. And we want to be right there alongside Patagonia, North Face, LIVSN. right? That's where we want to be seen in the industry. And we know that to do that, we're coming up against heavyweights. It takes a long time. We've really been at this for, we're talking about before the show, almost 8 years. And there's some old rules of thumb that if you ask people that are really knowledgeable in brand spaces, it takes 10 years to build a real trusted brand. And so I think we're almost there. You know, we've got a foothold in here. We're in the stores. We're right next to those products. We're out competing those brands in certain categories where we are. And I don't think we're going to stop until we get there.
Yeah, and it seems like you found that sweet spot when you were talking about people, profit, and planet. It seems like you found that really sweet spot. So it seems like I can see you guys being right there with those other guys. Yeah,
and you mentioned it, like it's not enough, and not like it's ever been enough to say you're sustainable, but in the outdoor industry, like it's not a competitive advantage really, right? Like there's these businesses are doing a lot of good in the world, which means that our products need to be better.
Yeah.
Not just as good, not just okay.
Yeah.
You know, our products need to be out there and perform, and they do. And so we're excited about the path we're on, and we feel like that trust is there, and we're building on it.
So you started out with a pair of pants. How many SKUs do you have now?
30-ish, depending on how you kind of break up certain categories.
Yeah. And so what's how do you look at, you know, expanding into other products? Like, do you have any new products coming down the pipe? Like, is the holiday season kind of like a ripe opportunity for y'all? Is in the traditional retail sense?
So I'll start reverse order. Yes, I mean this time of year from now until the Christmas time is game time, right? It's when all the preparation and we do more volume. Everything's a little easier. To sell, our challenge is how to play a part of that game with our messaging and still kind of participate, but do it that leaves us with a good taste in our mouth, right? As far as new product expansion, I'd say that the biggest word is intentional. We are always questioning the validity of the new products we're testing and developing along the way to make sure that they do kind of flow through those filters and principled approach so that they deserve to exist. But we just sprinted. So we went from really just known as men's pants to having really solid products in men's and women's pants, shirts, outerwear, pretty quickly. And so right now we're actually pretty focused on iteration of those products, not only in design and feedback, but also in supply chain and responsibility. So kind of tracing down, going back and verifying some of the things we assumed, and when it's coming up good. But yeah, we've got actually some pretty cool new pants coming out in the spring. So for spring, we'll actually release our very first climbing specific pant called the Crux pant. They're a new material for us. They're a hemp ripstop blend. They're double knee. They're really rad. They're a different fit for us, different design language, and our very first built for climbing product, which is interesting because that's probably where we're most known in the kind of outdoor community. We've never built a product, specifically for that.
Yeah, I feel like Arkansas is kind of an underrated spot for climbing.
I think so. Sure, yeah. I mean, I think Arkansas in general is underrated for the outdoor recreation we can offer.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
And climbing kind of fits the mold with that. Yeah. I was in Durango 2 weeks ago for an outdoor industry event, and we were leading with you at Outdoor Media Summit, and it was the Conservation Alliance was doing a trail hike. And the person leading the hike was like, and here we've got a brand new downhill mountain bike trails that are going to rival trails in Bentonville, Arkansas. And I was like, excuse me?
Would you have 10 years ago, 8 years ago, would you have ever thought you would have heard that?
No, not at all. And it's cool because, here or in Northwest Arkansas, we're talking about the kind of trails we want to build like other places. Now we're in these epic locations and they're comparing to us. And so that was a cool experience. It turns out Progressive Trail Design built that trail.
Oh, wow.
So we literally we have exported mountain bike trails out of here, which was really cool.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the holidays earlier because Caleb actually said he's going to buy some LIVSN gear for the Startup Junkie team for the holidays. Isn't that right, Caleb?
Yeah, I think something about a group buy.
Is group buy?
Oh, yeah.
So just be looking for an order like that coming soon.
I do want the Highlands with the Highland sweater with the Startup Junkie logo on that. That sounds really
You've
nice.
seen them, right?
Yeah, I've seen them. I need it. I need it. I've got one with the Arkansas Cycling Accelerator on it. I need one.
Let's get a team.
We're starting to get on the sustainability thing. We've started to get bigger companies reaching out to us and saying, "Hey, do you want to collaborate on things? We want to like there's one that hasn't come out yet, but it's a mountain bike tire company that's building the world's most sustainable tire. And they said, hey, we want to co-launch this with you. Can we customize actually a bunch of these flannels you're wearing, these benchmarks, or I'm wearing, to give to all of the press at the press event. So we actually did that.
That's cool.
But I think
awesome.
that's cool. Like we're starting to become more of a thought leader in the space of responsible business, and bigger, more established brands are looking to us for credibility, that's a shift. That's cool. That's a good.
It is a
point,
good feeling.
In your journey when you're starting to become the thought leader there.
Yeah, it's got to be validating for sure. It's awesome.
Well, we've kind of looked into the future to, next spring and, what success looks like for you. Let's go the opposite way, into the past. Andrew, if you had a time machine, you can go back and give younger Andrew a piece of advice. What would that piece of advice be?
With all your accumulated knowledge, you've heard this question before.
I have, but I always think about this through the lens of like, my past is obviously has a checkered, maybe not obvious to everybody, but I have a checkered past. But it also brought me to where I am today. And so it'd be hard to go back and say, hey, don't do this. There's definitely things that I probably would do differently given the chance. But if I could go back and say, I'd say, bring intention to what you're doing. If I was going to go back and look at myself, like, don't just float, don't just coast, and definitely don't just take, right? It's about giving and being intentional with your time. And I think I probably would have made different choices had I taken that to heart early on.
Yeah, it's pretty good advice right there.
Anything that we didn't touch on that we should share with the audience?
I'm proud of one thing we did this year. That's related to this idea, and I probably should have brought it up about sustainability and responsible business, is that we became a certified B Corp in 2025.
Okay. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Which, if no one knows what that means, some people don't. It's a big deal, and it's not it's not a rubber stamp, and it means that we do
takes effort.
Put our money where our mouth is with that triple bottom line, with that people, planet, and profit. And it's a third party validation or verification that means something.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that, and I think we did that really to build some greater accountability for what we say we do.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
We are actually have been in conversations with Rogelio at the university about bringing some education to Startup Junkie and our Startup Junkie clients for that, becoming B Corp certified, just to be able to help folks that want to take that step and just kind of be a partner along the way.
Well, our first steps were facilitated by Rogelio and his graduate students. Yeah. It took another year and a new employee to come in and really pick it up, our beekeeper, that title is,
awesome.
and get it over the finish line. But Rogelio had a big part to play in his department in getting us down that path towards B Corp certification.
Yeah, we're looking to link up with them and really be able to do more together, ideally. So.
And I will say too, by the time this airs, we will have already had our grand opening party, but we did open a brand new store in Bentonville when we moved locations. And we are open for retail hours 10 to 6, Wednesday to Saturday. And I will say that when they say shopping local helps your local economy and your local entrepreneurs, that is very true. And so if anybody's looking for a good place to go and buy some really high quality clothing for the outdoors person in their life, men or women, come see us.
It makes a great Christmas present.
It does. Yeah, people like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, come see us. That'd be really cool. Awesome. And it's a great store and a cool space, and we're really proud of it.
So where at, and specifically are y'all?
It's 3803 Northwest Wishing Spring Road.
Okay.
It's in Bentonville, so like really right. It feels like you're in Bella Vista. You go under the overpass into Bella Vista and take like your first right, and along the bike path and creek over there, there's kind of a run of.
Is that where Nargo is? Okay.
There's a cool little row of like bike and outdoor startups on that road, and these old warehouses, and we're one of those.
Cool. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, if any of our listeners want to learn more about you or more about LIVSN, where should they go?
Well, we're most active on socials on Instagram, so we're at LIVSN Designs. We're also website www.livsn.com, LIVSN. And if you want to check out that WeFunder, that's WeFunder/LIVSN Designs. And those would be a good place to start. And if anybody listening wants to talk about that, you're more than welcome to send me an email directly. I'm not that hard to find.
Awesome. We'll make sure to add those in the show notes.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming in on the podcast.
Yeah, it was fun.
Appreciate you.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share with a friend. Subscribe and review because it matters to us and we want to hear from you. If you're interested in learning how to work with us, check out the information below. See you next week.